What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vamos Bros. We back. It's been
Yes,
a while
sir.
since we did our last podcast a
I
couple
know.
months ago. We have the most anticipated, the first guest, Paco, with us.
Yes,
Beautiful.
sir.
Round of applause. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Today,
you doing,
uh,
Paco?
Welcome.
yeah,
What's up?
Paco, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming on. Um, man, Arsenal versus Chelsea. Let's just get straight to it.
What a game, huh? What a first half
Man,
for
this is
Chelsea, man.
crazy, bro.
Why do you guys have to start from Arsenal and Chelsea? I mean, let's give Paco some space, to relax and to
Hey, I mean, you gotta dig deep. I mean, come on, Paco.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot
Bro.
to be said. There's a lot of emotions. We just gotta let it out.
yeah, you gotta take us through your emotions. What was going on in your head when you were watching the game today?
Dude, I came into the game thinking like, oh, it's gonna be so good. Look, I saw the lineup beforehand. They were like putting on Twitter. I was like, okay. I was like, this is actually not a bad lineup. It's looking okay. Like one little thing I don't like, I'm not sure about Aspi starting. I'm not sure about Sterling starting, but like I was like, okay, this is something at least. Like Abba starting, Madueke starting, and like something different. At least you have a striker on. But like, bro, that first half,
You actually felt
that was
confident about
so rough.
Alba starting?
I never thought I would come to a game being like, oh, Aubameyang is starting. I'm so happy. But like we need a striker, bro.
right. I
And I was like,
mean,
okay, that's something. He came on the last game and he was like, or last time he played and he was like pretty good. And I was like, okay, he's doing something we don't have, which is being a striker up front. Like,
Yeah, he's
exactly.
much more
Yeah, no,
dangerous than
definitely.
Kai. And
I mean, Chelsea have been playing almost like the whole season without an actual striker. I mean, it's been
it's
like
been like that for like, dude, it's been like that forever
but
now.
also, guys, like one thing that I don't see many people talking about. I feel like all the Chelsea fans they focus on not scoring, but you guys conceded a lot of goals too.
Well, there was like a little stretch, right, where we were, I think we were like fourth, or we were like pretty high up in terms of like conceding goals. We weren't too bad. That was mostly when like Badia Shield was playing, right? And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, Badia Shield's like falling out of the team, and I have no reason as to why that happened. It just happened. He wasn't going to play in the Champions League. That was already like decided beforehand because we signed Enzo, we signed Felix, we signed Mudryk. So I was like, okay, I understand why we have three spots. It has to go to those three probably. I
Mm.
felt bad for Body Show because he's like really good, but
do you think that could be because you guys paid so much for Wesley Fofana and obviously like the team feels
yeah,
like he gotta
Yeah.
play?
yeah, I
Fofana just
think that
got
has,
back,
yeah, money has to do with it for sure.
Yeah, Fofana has been playing for the last 2 months, I would say, right?
yeah, but
Fofana has been playing,
he
yeah,
started.
he's been playing since he's come back from injury because
Right.
he'd
And
come back, I think in winter or maybe a little later, and he had like another little injury, and then he was out for like a little bit longer, not much longer, like a couple weeks, few weeks,
right.
Yeah.
and
But
then
since he came back, he's been the
yeah,
starter.
he's been one of our best players, I would say.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
I'd say he'd be one of our best players. I mean, but that's like a low bar, you know what I mean? Like the team
Yeah,
itself,
yeah.
But
everyone's pretty poor.
but I
But
mean,
no,
how?
honestly, it's good you brought up that point because like when like defense, offense has been bad, but like did you guys had a stretch of games where you guys were tying like 0-0 or like 1-1 or something, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like we drew
Like
with
in those
Liverpool
games you
nil
guys
nil.
needed that like goal more than like
Exactly.
not conceding, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a matter of like we were just scoring. Like the only reason we were conceding goals within like a certain amount of time was like, well, for a couple of reasons. Like we have different managers, people coming in and out. We have a huge squad. Like there's no balance, so it's like that's gonna happen. Like we're not gonna play well. But like at the
Right.
same time, there was a time where like we were okay defensively, we weren't bad in the league. That is, and we just weren't scoring. So it's like when you're not scoring, you're playing against like teams who are like gonna like try and like hit you on the counter, or like they have a low block or something and they're gonna like come at you. You're gonna concede a goal or two, right? Especially when
Definitely.
we're so low on confidence. But now it's just gotten to the point where it's like we're not good defensively now. We haven't been, and now Reece James is out for the rest of the season. And Aspilicueta is great, but he's old. Like he's not going to keep up. Fofana, I think, is good, but he's still like not 100% since I feel like he's not 100% since his injuries. Not like that season he burst on with like Leicester in the Prem. Thiago's working his butt off, bro, but like he's like 38. Like
Right.
we can't like place all
I
that
feel,
burden on
bro, I
him.
feel
You know
like
what I mean?
it's
So
like a
Exactly.
whole squad,
it's
like
ridiculous. It's
Kimberly.
kind of crazy. And then Conte's like playing as like some weird
It's been like a cam now, right? Like he's
cam,
always
but
behind
like
the striker. Like
it's so like at one point I thought like it looked like we were playing at one point when we were defending, we were trying to win the ball back. We were barely pressing against Arsenal, but it looked like we had like a 4-4-2 with like Aubameyang and Kante up front and Sterling on the left and like a left mid, Madueke on right mid. And I was like,
yeah. I was gonna
like,
ask
what
you
are
about
we
that. Like,
doing? Like
what,
this is
what do you think
crazy.
Lampard is actually trying to do? Because like I seen for most of the goals that Arsenal, 2 of the 3 goals where Arsenal scored, Conte was all the way up, and then when you guys lost possession, that's when it's like easier for them to transition
Yeah.
to the
And one
other
of those
half. Because
goals from Odegaard,
Conte's
like
not there to
Sterling fell
slow it
asleep.
down. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I like what. Why do you think Lampard is using him up front when you have Enzo that could do that better than him? You know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I think he's just trying to keep bodies behind the ball at this point. I
yeah,
think he's trying to keep bodies behind the ball and like he's putting on players who are gonna like run and like pressure and like that's what he's doing. That's why he's
right.
playing Conte every game.
But
That's why he's
I
bringing on
think
Gallagher.
don't you think him doing that makes him more exposed, like in the center mid area, like.
I think he's just trying to get the team to like work hard and play at this point because they're so low in confidence. He's just trying to get them to run at least, at the very least.
You see, like the thing about Chelsea right now is like so hard to say there is a cam and also so hard to say that there is, like an actual striker, right? So
Yeah.
like we have Joao Felix. I mean, who could be like a cam, but also like, who could possibly play like as a striker, but he hasn't been doing his best, right? So
He
I
kind
think
of plays like off the
Frank,
striker, I feel like, yeah.
right. So what Frank is doing right now is just, trying to use Conte as that, cam type of player. So even if it's not creating, he could like press defenders and like, make them, force them to make those mistakes in which like, Chelsea can possibly like score, which I mean, it is very sad because you guys have so many qualities, like, attacking wise, but,
Yeah.
seems like
I
that's
mean,
the
even
best
dude,
way.
it's like attacking and offensive, like offensively and defensively. Like Chelsea has a lot of good players. Like it's crazy how I think probably correct me if I'm wrong. The first and second goals for Arsenal, the goals that Odegaard scored, they were
Yeah.
identical. The same exact play across to like the penalty
Yeah.
box, and then he just shoots it. And like even the defenders, they just gave up. Like you could tell. I think it was like Thiago Silva. He was blaming Chilwell for not covering, but Chilwell was I think with Saka. So it's like you can tell even the players they're not even focused, dude. Like all of the team, they're not even focused. They're not paying attention. They start blaming each other for every goal that they concede. You know.
Okay.
Confidence is just so low right now.
Yeah, let me ask
Yeah.
you guys one question though. So do you guys think the problem that like, Chelsea is having right now is, because of Frank, or do you guys think like it's just like, the players are not really like, mentally there, or do you guys just think it's just like a whole bunch of like, stuff like, combined together, like, from the owner to the coaching, the players' mentality?
It's
Like,
100% everything combined.
I think it's everything at this point.
Honestly, Lampard, yeah, like he could possibly do better. It was squad
Oh yeah,
selection,
he could a
this,
lot
that,
better,
but
dude.
I think the players are just checked out at this point. Like you see, like even today, it just seems like they just wasn't trying. Like I mean, Odegaard scored like almost the same similar goals, like just like
Exactly, bro,
open. It's
yeah.
like what's going on? Like nobody's like tracking him, or like it's just like I would just give up, like let them score.
right.
So I don't know. It's kind of hard. I mean, Lampard, he came in at a tough time, and honestly, maybe would have been better off just leaving the
Daughter.
no the is it the assistant dude,
Oh,
the
the
Spanish
assistant.
guy that like
Bruno,
that tied against Bruno.
Bruno, yeah.
Maybe give him a chance because like now looking back, it's like he tied that game, and then after that, since Lampard has been here, every game has been a lot. So it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard, man. It's like it's hard to blame Lampard because he came in this wreck, like where maybe even a top coach can't even fix it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I feel like it's more on the players in a way right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think everyone has to take accountability at this point. Like, I don't even think it's just one person or one thing. It's like I think if I have to proportion it, like I think the owners are most at fault at this point because it's like they came in, Bowley took over like with transfers and everything else. He didn't have anyone in place yet or anyone ready, and it's like I get that, and that transition was really tumultuous. It was really hard because like it's Abramovich and like Ukraine and Russia. It's like it was really rough that transition, and then he came in and Clear Lake and everything. But like when he came in, he like the signings from the summer versus the January window, two completely different like strategies, right? Like one, like January is all young players. We're looking to build for the future, or like to like sign all the youngest players we can. So if they don't make it into the first team, they will make a profit on these players too, right? So it's like I prefer
You think
that
that's
strategy, but
oh,
it's
like
just
you're
they just
saying
bloating the team at this
the
point.
past strategy, right? The strategy in the past.
The pastor, well, in a way, yeah. Like the thing is, it's more forward thinking, I think, than what we had in the past in a way. And like with like the restrictions coming in with like how many we could loan out and this and that, it's like changing, right? But like I feel like last summer we signed Sterling. I wasn't a fan of that signing because I didn't see how that was gonna work
Mhm.
because we never really play with wingers like that.
Right.
And I didn't think we were going to. I wasn't sure if we would. And he cost a decent amount for like a year left on his contract, and he's not like a finisher by nature. Like it was just he was in a perfect system at City. But like now, it's like when I see him play, I'm like,
What
I'd
was
rather
the
see like Mudryk
what was
and
the fee for
Madueke start.
Sterling? Was it 50 or 60?
Something
No,
around.
I think it was like 35 or 45, something like
He
that.
only had a year on the
It's
contract.
not too
Somewhere
bad.
between there. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but like it was, I don't know. Like I felt like it was obvious that he wasn't gonna suit this team if we were gonna stay with like a back five or a back three, and we went to a back four, and that didn't really work for that long. And Lampard, I can't really blame Lampard because like, is he a top manager? I think it's pretty obvious at this point he's not at that
That's
level yet.
that's the
But I
thing.
think
I think for Chelsea's owners, like they could have like if they wanted to bring someone to actually like help the team with the rest of the season, they needed someone with more experience, right? Like an experienced coach. But Lampard, we seen what he done with
That's,
Everton, right?
But you know
they're just
that's
doing it for now though. Like they don't
right.
wanna.
yeah,
But
it's only
it's not
temporary
stable.
at this
But
point. It's only temporary, and he's been with the club before. Like he knows what it means. At least he was a
Honestly,
right.
player.
But let me say this. I mean, like, for instance, like if you guys look at Crystal Palace and the way how they fired Patrick Vieira and they hired, Sam, Big
Brought
Sam.
back Hodgson.
I mean, like, at first I was very frustrated about the move. Like, like why would you fire, Patrick to bring in like Sam? But I
wait,
think it has paid off.
Crystal Palace?
Yeah.
They got Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson, yeah.
What did I say? Oh,
You
okay.
said Sam, you said
Roy
Big
Hodgson,
Sam.
my bad.
Leeds just picked up Sam though just today.
Oh, they did.
So yeah,
Oh,
they gave him I
okay.
think four or five games, so just for like to save him. So
Get
that's
the early news.
Big Sam might go to Leeds, maybe. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens with that.
But
back
Paulo,
to
let me ask you this. So if we're talking about this season is already over, okay? If we're talking about next season, like if you try to come up with three solutions to like save Chelsea and bring him back to the Champions League next year, what would they be? And do you think you guys need a lot more transfers and like sell all the old transfers from last year, like Sterling, Koulibaly, like maybe Kai, players that are not helping the team?
Okay, so I think, yeah, okay, so I wasn't a fan of Cucurella coming for that price. I wasn't a fan of Raheem Sterling coming. But at least Sterling can offer something. Cucurella he's not a bad player, Cucurella. He's just, I think just the price tag got to him. He also had issues like personal issues too. And, it's just not worked out fully, but he will become a decent player. Although I would have rather we kept Ian Matson, but that is what it is. And then Koulibaly, I feel like he's a good player. He's shown that he's a good player, but he just had a really rough patch, and I think we expected too much of him. And I think he's maybe, I'm not sure if he's the right fit for us. He'll probably leave in the summer, it looks like. I think the main issue is like getting rid of a lot of surplus players. You know, like it's a bloated squad. It's like over 30 players, 31, I think. And then
Right.
we still have Malagusto and Kunku to come in the summer.
Yeah, I
It's
forgot.
like, and I know we want to sell our goalies. Apparently, like Mendy's gonna go. I think it's 100%. So like at this point, it looks 100% like, or at least close to 100%. This is like with the big names or what I've seen on Twitter and stuff like that from other people. Looks like Mendy's gonna go. Koulibaly's probably gonna go. Kovacic wants to leave apparently, so we'll see where he goes.
Felix is
Ante is gonna probably get an extension. I don't know yet. I think it wouldn't hurt to give him an extension, but I also could see on like why we'd want to let him go as well because he earns a lot of money and he doesn't play enough. But we'll see what happens with that. I think it's just a matter of like letting people go. Don't sign Felix at all. Like don't spend a huge sum of money on a guy that's not gonna like do what we need. We already have players that play in a similar style of him, right? Like if we can keep Mason Mount, I would love that, but if he has to go, he has to go. So it's like I would rather we keep Mason Mount, let Felix go, get a striker in. I think the main thing that most Chelsea fans agree with is like we need a DM to help Enzo to like free him up, and we need maybe a goalie depending on who we offload or how many goals we offload, and we need a striker. You know, Osimhen's not going to happen as much as people want to say it. I don't see it happening. Too
Bring
much
back
money.
Lukaku.
Lukaku, like
What do they do?
I don't know if it's true.
He's
Like
coming
I was
back,
seeing
right?
little things like they're talking to him about coming back and like maybe giving him a fresh start under new ownership, new manager. But
I
like
don't know.
that
How would you feel about, especially after what he said when he left the team?
personally,
Yeah, like you
I don't want
wouldn't.
to see him back at the
Forgot
club
that
at
though.
all. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to see it
Even
at all.
that's the thing. Even if
Everybody
he got
forgot
goes
that now.
back, he's gonna get booed every game, you know.
Bro, if he comes and performs, I don't think everybody would mind. But I don't think he
But
would.
he's not gonna perform under the pressure from the Chelsea fans, though.
No, but like right now
He's
though,
got an
like
off
it's
season
like
this
a
year
new
too.
era. You know, Chelsea fans have like a lot of other stuff to worry about than like, you know, Lukaku coming in and like, you
Exactly.
know, trying to play as a striker. I mean,
I mean, if anyone's gonna get the best out of him, I don't know for sure if Poch can, but Poch is a good coach, and if he is the long-term coach, like we could be very good next season, or at least back to a spot where we can compete for Europe, right?
Really pro
Very least.
coach, huh?
And I think he could. Yeah, I like Poch. I think
Would you say that would be for you? Like, would that be the ideal coach, or would you have him?
honestly, I was hoping like every other fan it would be either Enrique or Nagelsmann, but I think if
So
you know
you
if they really want to be careful and they want to pick the right person going forward and not rush it or you know pick the wrong person like they might have done with Potter. Maybe it was too soon for him. I think that's what it looks like at this point. But after all the coaches, like I don't think it was just Potter. Like I think we could see that now.
Yeah.
And I think Poch is probably one of the best choices available. You know, I think the more as the more time goes by, the more I think, okay, I can see why they would want him. It makes sense, you know.
Yeah, no, because I was gonna say like knowing that Potts got some, obviously Premier League experience and stuff like, and Nagelsmann, you know, he's good. He's shown what he can do, but I don't know. Me personally, I feel like Potts is probably the better decision, but
You could say it's a safer decision just because he has more experience in the Prem. He's been out for a little bit now, but like he knows what to do in the Prem. He knows how to coach a team like Chelsea, I would say. He
how's
can
to
attract
say,
players. He can get the respect. He's a good man manager as well for the most part. Like I think he'll do a good job overall. Like I don't see any
Yeah,
big
I mean,
issues.
especially with the young players you guys have, I think the board needs to give him time because we all know Poach is a long-term coach, so we need to give him time to build his project and not just fire him the way they did with Potter.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I think Poach is more of like a medium-sized club manager, to be honest with you guys.
Think so.
know,
So you
for
didn't want him.
me-
You didn't want him when he was linked to United.
But I mean, you guys
that's
want
the
it,
crazy
but
part.
you know, yeah, like you know, at some point I did wish that like you know United would go for him, but then now you know
United
like
are mid-sized, huh?
well you know like after that like season with Spurs, you know after he had all the Champions League run,
yeah,
you know, I definitely did wish like you know man you would go for a Poach.
Vinny, but
Now just
another thing,
just knowing that, like, Chelsea have the money, Chelsea have, like, like a big squad, like a lot of talented players. I feel like they could have really like went for Enrique, like was someone very experienced. He has like his own of like playing style. You know, he can win you guys like trophies. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if Poch is like a certified trophy winner. I mean, he went to
Yeah.
PSG, and I mean, like
He could save Chelsea from like battling next season like this season, but he's not gonna win any trophies. He might take them back to Champions League, but he's not gonna win any trophies. We all know that.
I don't know. Well, you never know. Like, it's a long time. You never know what's gonna happen. He can easily win his like Mauricio Sarri when he came to Chelsea. He'd never won a trophy before, and he was able to win the Europa League with us, right? Yeah, it's not the Champions League, but we still beat Arsenal. We slapped them,
but I mean,
and he still won
different,
a
bro. I
trophy.
mean,
So
But
like
how
any
old-
trophy is important, I think, for him especially.
I don't know. With all the players you guys have and the players I'm sure Chelsea's gonna bring next year, like Nkunku and them, Europa League would not be a trophy that you guys would be proud of.
No,
Well,
I
I mean,
think
Chelsea
I think
definitely
we will
it's
be proud
gonna
of it
be.
because it'll be the only choice we have. If
Yeah,
we even
yeah,
get that.
definitely is gonna be a big accomplishment. I mean, like for you to even say that, like
For
think
real.
about it, man. They're fighting for relegation this season.
That's
Yeah, I
if
mean,
they make it in
sad.
Europa
Well,
League.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's if they make it to Europa League.
I
It's
don't even
gonna
think
be
we
a
make it to
tough
Europa League.
season.
We're not gonna make it to Europa League. We're too
not
far
gonna
off.
be- it's already
Yeah.
done.
And our next run is like ridiculous.
Now that you say that, like it kind of remind me of Liverpool, actually, Paulo.
We're here.
The
We
real
only care
question
about
should
Chelsea
be like,
today. Why are we bringing Liverpool up?
the real question should be like, are Liverpool gonna make it to the Europa League?
Yeah, we're already fifth place, bro. But I mean, we're cool. We're making Europa League. But I said it since the start. I remember I said no. Listen, I said it since the start of the
Nah,
season.
Liverpool are good now.
Podcast,
I'll be back.
I said we're not making Champions League, but Europa League we are making Europa League.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing Chelsea in the Conference League.
Hey man, if we can make the Conference League, that'd be a great
That
achievement.
would be great
We
too.
make it that far back up.
Yeah, they're like 5, 6 places away, bro.
Yeah, we're too far, man.
this
I support
point-
you guys on that one.
We're too far. It
Well,
could be
that-
good
that-
if we get it. That'd be good game time for young players too.
The championship is not ready for Chelsea, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a good boost, just going into the next
Yeah.
season. At least you have another competition, so you're not
I
just.
know. Look,
But-
we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna be in the championship. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, but
We're
yeah,
gonna
hopefully-
finish lower than 12 probably because of our next run in. And if we keep playing like this, it's gonna be bad. But like,
hopefully, Pablo, works out for you guys. Next time you come on the podcast, you're in the Champions League. You're not depressed because Chelsea. I'm hoping you guys do good next year.
I hope so too. I hope
we,
so too.
we are approaching time, but like let me ask you guys the last closing question for our session today. Who do you guys think is gonna win the PL this season?
Come on, who else? City, bro.
Dude, I've been saying it was gonna be Arsenal the whole time. I was like, they have a big gap. They're
Wow.
gonna be okay. But they just fell apart. Like they're just like
They broke down.
diminishing. Even though they beat us, it's like that's not a big accomplishment, bro. We
Yeah.
suck this year. Like we're losing to everybody. That's not a big
Man.
deal to beat us at this point, especially at home.
Yeah, I think when Arsenal drew with Liverpool, that was it. Like you seen, they 2 games after that, and they still couldn't win. Like they lost 6 points in like a matter of a week and a half.
The way they got slapped up by City like that was just
I mean,
was
That-
rough.
that
that's
shows
the
you
sad
the
part. Like
difference.
two games against City, they lose, and like you competing for the league. I mean, that's
Right.
kind of.
Yeah, and like, dude, even that game against City, like you could tell from the start of the game, the Arsenal players were shaking, like they were scared. Like if you're playing like that against your rival, you're not gonna win the trophy.
Dude, City have like a pretty good because they have what 2 extra games or 1 extra game still.
I think one.
They still have 1 extra game.
They got 2 games.
1 extra game on
Now they
top.
got 2 games extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have 2 games extra. So it's
Right.
like
Yeah, there's no way they
it's
lose.
only a
I
2-point
don't think-
gap, and they have the better goal difference. And for any reason, they can tie.
Yeah, I
It's
think
in City's
Arsenal
favor
really-
at this point.
Arsenal messed up their chance to
Yes.
really win it. Like,
Yeah, but I mean,
three
let me
games
guys ask
tied, I
you.
think that kind of just like threw
Let me
everyone
guys
off.
ask you a quick question before we get off.
Let's
You
just
guys,
finish
you
up
guys
on-
believe
on
that?
Ronaldo.
You guys believe?
Ronaldo.
Bro, we have 3 minutes. It's cool. We'll do 1 minute. Sub-playing good. You guys think that Arsenal actually like flopped? Like, come on, what was their main target? To make Champions League, and they're gonna end up second. So is that even a loss for them? I guess the fans were getting
No, it isn't a loss, dude. It's just funny because like realistically they bottled it. Like
Oh,
they
yeah,
had
they
such
did.
a gap, and
Well,
like
you know, think of it this way though, like, you know, it
Still a
is a big
success.
loss because, you know, I'd rather not just be like, you know, competing for the trophy, like, you know, lead all the way
Come on, man.
until you have like
Liverpool lost it by
5,
1
6
point
games.
last week.
Well, I
It's-
mean, you know, that's Liverpool. You know,
But
for
no,
Arsenal, they haven't won the league in like 20 years.
No,
Yeah.
but Benny, that's the thing though. How long did it take Liverpool competing with City until they won one league? Bro, like
Yeah, definitely.
a couple of years. So Arsenal's not gonna come in 1 year out of nowhere and just win it. They have to compete and keep competing to get that
Yeah,
resume.
exactly. I think for that reason, like it's kind of hard to say it's a battle. Just, I mean, this is already such a big thing for Arsenal, but they did, I guess, they did battle it. I mean, they were, yeah,
it's
exactly.
looking it's looking like they'll bottle it. It's not 100% yet, but like it's looking like they will.
But looking at the team City play against, it's kind of hard to see a team that's gonna beat them.
Yeah, ain't no way.
So it's probably game over for them. I mean,
If
Arsenal give us
if
hope for
Chelsea
the
could
longest.
have beat Arsenal today, I would have been like, oh, if we can beat Arsenal, we can beat City. But no, it's not even a question
You
now.
guys need to beat Southampton first. But yeah, thank you for joining, Paulo.
Thank you,
hopefully-
Paco,
Sir,
for
appreciate
joining
it.
us.
For sure.
Yeah.
Forward
Thanks
to
for
having you
having me.
more on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, bros.
Definitely.
Peace
Thanks
out.
everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and, you know, give us a like.
Give
We'll
it a
be-
thumbs up,
Thumbs up.
share.
Comments,
Let's go.